Scientists, welcome to How to Write a CER, The Reasoning, with Bill Nye. All right, people, just a refresher. Our prompt for this one is we're trying to prove that Bill Nye is a real scientist. So we've got our claim, we've got our evidence, now we have to work on the reasoning. Reasoning. Reasoning explains why the evidence backs up or proves, you can say it either way, backs up the claim, proves the claim, right? Reasoning explains why. And in some ways, reasoning is the hardest part, but it's also my absolute favorite part in the entire world because I get to hear what you think about it. It's your words and what you think. And for some of you, this might be a little bit of a struggle, but you can totally do it. Okay, so when we look at reasoning, we're asked to explain something. We're explaining why our text evidence matches our claim. So when we talk about explanations, it's really handy to think who, what, where, when, why, how. And let me just kind of show you a little bit what that looks like. Okay, so for me, I'm trying to bust this myth. A lot of people, you guys included, don't think that Bill Nye is a real scientist. So that's what I'm going to start with my reasoning, right? A lot of people think Bill Nye isn't a real scientist. But I can't be done with just one sentence. I think and I know a lot more than that, so I'm going to add to it. However, he has a degree in mechanical engineering and designed airplane parts. Those are two things in the text evidence I thought were really, really cool. It would be really interesting to kind of show off. It also could be additional information that I learned about Bill Nye that maybe wasn't in my quote, that could be kind of nice to back up the claim that he is a scientist. And then it talks about he tested his design, something scientists do, and collected data, something scientists do. These are things that I know as a scientist, so I want to talk about them. And then in the end, I like a really good concluding sentence, so I add in a transition in and say, in fact, Bill Nye is a real scientist. I could say in conclusion, or the more you know. No. Lots of things you could say here. Now, people, here's the tricky part about all this. How do we do that with our scientists? You can't copy what I wrote. In fact, if I see you copying what I wrote, I'm probably going to ask you to redo it because you have to decide what you think. Only you can tell you why you picked that text evidence and why it backs up that claim. So ask yourself the question, why did I pick it? Why does this back up my claim? And again, these little explanation words, the why and the how, are two really good ones to think about, especially because I said it in the beginning of the video, right? But you really need to think about why you picked that text and how it backs up your claim. And it needs to be a couple of good sentences. Most people for this project will have 3 to 4, kind of like I did in the example. It shouldn't just be one sentence that says, this proves my claim, because it doesn't prove your claim if you don't explain why it does. And I know that's a struggle for some people. It's hard to learn how to write this way, but I also know the more you practice it, the better you're going to get at it. And I know it's tricky because you do really have to decide what you think for this one. I can't tell you what to think. Neither can your peers. So think about it. Good luck, scientists.